Hey kid, I see you're in the market for a new car. What would it take to get you into this sweet little $25,000 Tesla? Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. This channel is dedicated to finding out whether I really know it all or not. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and definitely make sure you subscribe because when we hit 500 subscribers, we're doing a giveaway. It's coming soon. Okay, so obviously I started off with a little bit of a joke, but whatever. But I am curious. I actually am going to do a poll in the comments below, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile it, and I'll either, if it's a relatively straightforward thing, I'll put a spreadsheet like image down or a link or something like that in the comments after a couple of weeks. Or if it's more interesting, I actually might do another video about it and discuss what people have said about buying a more inexpensive Tesla. So for those of you who don't know, on September 22nd, which is yesterday when I'm recording this, Elon Musk announced that they are looking forward to releasing a $25,000 Tesla something, right? Model 2, model something. I don't know. He had this joke, which seems like the ultimate geek joke. I think it went right over everybody's head. But during the presentation, he said, it's taken us years to create this joke with our cars. And then he said Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Model Y. So basically it spells sexy. Oh, gosh. And with a 3, no less. So it's like a super duper geek joke. But anyway, so who knows what the next one will be? Maybe it'll be like Model R or something, right? So it'll be sexier or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, regardless of that, the interesting thing to me is at $25,000, I personally would buy a Tesla almost no matter what it was. But I'm really curious what you guys have to say about that. So I guess the first option that we have is just buy a Tesla. If Tesla sells a $25,000 car, you're like, I'm all in, don't care what it looks like, don't care what it does, just gonna buy it. That's cool. The second option I can think about is it needs to hit some sort of performance metric. Like you're like, it still has to be able to do 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds or under 5.5 seconds. Or it still has to have a certain kind of punch to it or something, or acceleration. Still has to be able to do a quarter mile within a certain amount of time. And that's another option that you could certainly, discuss and say, like, for 25 grand, I want it to hit a certain performance metric. The third option, certainly I could see this being a possibility, is that it still has to hit a certain range level. So, if it's $25,000, but it only does 140 miles EPA estimated range, then, I guess even when I say like I would definitely buy it, I might not buy it in that case. I expect it'll definitely be over 200 miles. And from what Elon Musk keeps talking about, I think it'll be a lot closer to 300. He seems to be kind of targeting that as his minimum like mileage range. And we've got a couple of years, and with the new batteries, I did an episode on this yesterday about the significance of all the new batteries and such. But by the time the car gets released, hopefully they'll have these new batteries in mass production and they'll be able to produce a car that will have a reasonable range, like above 250 miles for an inexpensive price. Option number 4 is it maybe needs to hold a certain number of passengers for it to be reasonable for you. I would think at a minimum it would be able to do 4 passengers, but maybe you need like 5. So you need to be able to fit at least 3 people in the back seat or something, or else it's not usable to you. So let me know what you think about that. I kind of think for an inexpensive, city car that 4 passengers is plenty, but you may feel a difference about that too. The next thing is maybe it needs to be able to haul a certain amount of cargo, and that kind of goes along with the number of passengers. But basically if you fold the back seat down and you take up all that space, how much cargo can fit within the car. Interestingly, I also, if you check up here, I did an episode a couple of months ago about designing a Model 2, and I think that I created a rather interesting design. It's sort of Cybertruck inspired, but it has the rear passengers facing backwards, and when you lay it down, it actually has a lot of storage space within it. So, maybe they'll do something along those lines, and so they'll be able to store more than you might think. But, if you have something in mind, like a number of cubic feet or a number of cubic meters that it has to be able to contain to be able to haul the stuff you need, maybe you're a drummer or something, and so you need to be able to put your entire drum kit in the back of this car, or else it's not useful to you. So let me know that one too. The last thing I can think about is aesthetics. Does it need to hit a certain aesthetic mark, or else you're not interested? I think a lot of people are still really divided about the Cybertruck. And like I said, my design that I did is very much inspired by the Cybertruck because the idea is to make it as inexpensive as possible to design and build, right? No paint shops, very, very simple exoskeleton design. It's basically just a powertrain and you stick the steel frame on top of it. But maybe you have a certain aesthetic appeal that it has to have. It needs to have smooth sweeping corners or something before you'd be interested. So definitely let me know that one too. Or is there something else I haven't even thought about that you need before it would be a viable car for you? So definitely let me know that too in the comments. And finally, is the car just too expensive still at $25,000, right? Is it just too much for what you're able to afford these days? If that's the case, then what is the number you need? Is it $20,000? Is it $17,500? Obviously, this is all in US dollars, but you can kind of guesstimate what it would be if you're in Europe or something, the number of euros it would be, or Danish kroners or whatever. So anyway, so definitely let me know what you think about those options. If it's too expensive, kind of what is your target price that you could see being a viable price for you to be able to purchase the car. Okay, so to recap again, definitely make notes in the comments, and I'm going to compile all this stuff because I think it's going to be really interesting to find out. Number one, would you buy it straight no matter what it is? Just like whatever Tesla says it is, you're going to buy it because it's inexpensive enough that you can do that. Does it need to exceed some sort of performance metric? Does it need to have a certain range level? That seems like the most likely to me that people would, balk at if it didn't have a certain range. Does it need to hold a certain number of passengers? Does it need to have a certain number of cubic feet or cubic meters of storage space? Does it need to exceed or meet some aesthetic level for you? Or finally, is it still just too expensive? Oh, and then also, is there something that I forgot? There's an other category. So certainly you can put other down there. I think what I'll do in the description is I'll just mark out all that stuff and you can kind of copy and paste it and, maybe make a check mark or respond to each of the questions just to make it easier for you. So anyway, look in the comments, copy that part, fill out whatever you need, and then paste it into your comments. I will compile them, and like I said, in a couple of weeks, I'll either put together a spreadsheet or maybe I'll do another episode on it because I'm really fascinated to find out what you all think about that. It's a $25,000 car starts to sound really appealing to me when it's an electric car and it's going to cost not a lot to drive over its lifetime. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, definitely make sure you give it a like and subscribe for more, of course. And definitely make sure you ask me questions in the comments or at my email address, which is drknowitallknows@gmail.com. Till next time, bye-bye.